everybody. Welcome to Strategy with Sally. Let me know where you're joining me from around the world. I see many eyeballs out on the live, so get those tippy-tap fingers out. Come on back to me and tell me where you're joining me from out there in the world. Let me know if you struggle with sales calls and overcoming objections. You're going to love today. All right, come on. Everyone's so quiet today. What's going on, people? All right, I got a pretty cool session lined up for you today with a workbook and everything. And the best place to catch our live streams and know whenever we're going live is over on YouTube. So head there, don't just subscribe, but also make sure you turn on that live notification button, ding ding, the little bell so you get the live reminders. Do you struggle with sales calls? Do you sometimes feel like you're going to be like, oh, salesy, sleazy, and gross, or you're just not sure what to say in what order? Or when you get through the actual conversation part of the sales, how do you transition to the actual offer? What's the biggest struggle for you? Now, for those of you who are here with me live, get out those tippy-tap fingers, and I want to know, what is the biggest struggle for you when it comes to sales calls, talking to actual real humans about what it is that you sell? Is it 1, not knowing what order to actually speak to people in so that you don't feel like you're fumbling around? Number 2, is it the objections? Do they frighten the hell out of you and you're like, what if they say they can't afford it, or they don't have time, or, you know, whatever the objection may come up for them? Or is it 3? Is it the transition to the actual offer and saying the price? So for you, let me know with your tippy tap fingers, which is it? Is it 1, I don't know what to say and in what order? 2, the objections freak me out. Or 3, is it the transition to the offer and actually telling people that you have a service that's worth paying for? All right, so in the chat, we got lots of 2s, all of the above from Robin. Jenny says 3, Sarah says 2. All right. So let's talk about today. Now, before we do jump over this lesson, this masterclass will have a workbook. And for those that are watching this right now, under the video, there will be a link to download your workbook. And so this is what the actual workbook looks like. Let me go and grab my pen. All right, so here we are. This is what the workbook looks like. And in the workbook, this is a sales script for coaches so that you can close more high-ticket coaching clients without feeling all the salesy, sleazy, gross stuff along the way. Now, if we haven't yet met, I'm Sally. Hi there. I'm a wife, a mum. I am definitely a visionary. I love creating pretty graphics, but I really, truly am an automation nerd, and I love me some sexy numbers. So I am also the brains behind the Freedom Funnel Formula, and I just love helping coaches to really kick ass when it comes to their sales and marketing automation so that you can have all your systems set up on autopilot, basically. And let me tell you, this paid traffic sales script that we're about to go through today is a secret weapon that has helped myself and clients scale to 6 and 7 figures without that sleazy, slimy, gross stuff, right? So without this script, you'll probably be stressing about what to do and what to say in the right order. Just bear with me while I turn the ding-dongs off. There we go. All the VIPs are jumping in and ding-donging in my ear right now. So get ready for this workshop, because once we work through this script, you're going to strut your stuff in those sales calls, right? You're going to do it with confidence. You're going to be armed with all the right things to say and in the right way. You'll be able to build trust with your prospects and feel totally at ease because you will be in charge of deciding who fits you and your business, while at the same time, they will also be making a decision. So trust me, this guidance is going to have you crushing sales calls in no time at all. Are we ready to dig into today's session? Yes? Awesome. Alrighty then. Well, let's scroll through the workbook. There's a little bit about me. But this is what we're going to be covering today. So we're going to be looking at why you need to ask pre-qualifying questions before you get people onto a sales call. Then we're going to be digging into how to help with the no-show factor. Who struggles with no-shows? Let me know. Do you constantly find that you are filling your calendars, but you're struggling with no-shows? Then I'm going to give you an overview of the exact steps in which you go through when using this script. And of course, it's moldable. It's a great starting point for you. Then I've actually written the script out and showed you where you fill in the blanks, but you will have to go through and write this script out yourself. Then I'm going to cover 9 different ways in which you can cover objections. Plus, I'll give you a checklist so that you can track those sexy numbers. And finally, what next? So, are you ready? Does it sound like a really great masterclass today, right? A little bit more than you expected? Yeah, well, it was for me too as I was writing it. I'm like, no, I got to put that in. Got to put that in too. All right, so let's go through and let's begin with the pre-qual questions. So what are the pre-qualifying questions and why should you ask them? Well, the reason why is I've got 6 reasons why it's super important for you to ask pre-qualifying questions, because as a coach, our time is so valuable and we don't want to spend time on the sales calls with those people that really aren't ready to achieve their goals. So, number 1, we want to weed out the duds, okay? In our pre-sales call questionnaire, it's like the little secret weapon that's going to help you weed out the duds before they get on the call. So by asking just a few questions up front, it's going to allow you to save time and energy with those that aren't yet ready to have your program and to do the doing and to do the things. And also it allows you to stay more productive in your business, so you're not wasting time on calls with those that are not yet ready. Then the second reason is it gives you mind reading powers. A pre-sales call questionnaire, it's like a catalyst that gives you mind reading powers by asking targeted questions around your niche to get a better understanding of your potential client and all the pain points that they have before you even get on the call. So this means that you're preparing yourself for that call and you've already probably got in mind a solution or a benefit that's going to blow their mind. And who doesn't love to blow people's minds with all the wow factor, right? The third reason is you really do build amazing relationships. You see, when you understand your potential clients' needs and their pain points, once you get on this phone and you speak to them, you're speaking with them, not at them. You're listening to them and their pain points. You will build a rapport so much faster. This is like a real shortcut to life status, to really getting those people as brand ambassadors for you. So this is how your potential clients will feel so seen, heard, loved, and appreciated before you even really kick off the call. And it's going to save you so much time as well within that call preparation stage. So by being prepared for the call, you turn up like your prospect's best friend and you're prepared and ready. By asking a few quick key questions up front, you can give them the information that they're looking for on the call and use that call in a more productive way. You know that the person is looking for you because you've pre-read all of their questions, and this means you can tailor your approach and your coaching approach directly to their needs. And this is going to increase the likelihood that they will say yes to you and become a client. It will allow you to also customize your approach. When you ask specific questions in the questionnaire, you can customize your approach to that client's specific needs using their words to help them show that you understand. This means you can focus on the benefits, the solutions that will really resonate with them. And the likelihood is you'll end up with a new customer. So speak their language, build that rapport, and that is going to allow you to give them a really tailored approach when they're on the call. And the best part is, finally, when you have a pre-sales call questionnaire, it's going to allow you to save time. I mean, we're all short in time, and we don't need, a long backstory and all the history and everything that sometimes people on a sales call can just go on and on and on and on about, right? If we have that pre-sales questionnaire, it will allow you to shortcut all of that stuff and get into the meat of the conversation. So, who doesn't love saving time, right? Right, we love saving time. So from those 6 questions, we'll see if we go back over here. That's the reason why we have that pre-qualifying questionnaire. So now if we scroll on through, I've written out that here for you, the pre-sales questionnaire stuff, but let's talk about the consult phone text messages. So if you're struggling with no-shows, set some time aside at the beginning of the morning, log in, have a look who's lined up for you for the day, and send them a text message in the morning. So I've got some examples here of the text message. It's saved on my phone, this one right here. So you'll say to them, hey, how you going? I just wanted to check in and make sure that you're good for your appointment with the time. And this, if you make a call, is even more personal. 80% of the time, you're probably just going to leave a message. And then you will say, if I don't hear from you, all good, I will assume that you're going to be at the call, on the call. So this allows them the opportunity to text you back if they're not. Right, and then that will allow you to reschedule if need be. So a phone call is better than a text message, but you can also automate the text message side of things. Now, once the call starts and they haven't shown up in the first 5 minutes, don't give up. Don't go, oh, well, and that's it. What I want you to do is within that first 5 minutes, if they haven't shown up, send them a text message. Hey, name, I'm here waiting for you in Zoom for our appointment. Are you having any problems getting on? If so, here's the link. Now, the reason why we word it this way is rather than saying, are you coming? If you use the words, are you having a problem? It gives them an out, right? They can say, oh, yes, I am, even if they've forgotten. Right? And they can then just quickly click on the link and text you back and say, yes, I'm coming. So that text message gives them an out without making them feel bad, or, they won't ignore you either. So this is so important for you to do these reminders. So if we go back here and let's go back to our contents. So here we've talked about the consult call day and text message reminders. So next up, let's go through the actual call script overview. So before we dig into the actual script itself, I want to walk you through the steps, and then we'll dig a little deeper into that. So at the call overview, you have a few steps here. 1 is to thank them, 2 is to build a connection, 3 is to set the call intention, 4, why now, 5, why me, 6, authority question, 7, biggest struggle, 8, decide if you can help them, 9, I'm hearing you, 10 is the plan, and 11, a benefit statement, 12, would you like help with that? 13, present your offer, 14, overcome objections, 15, the details, 16, onboarding and the welcome, 17, close the call, and 18, follow up. Now, there's a few steps there, but the more and more you practice, the easier and easier it will become. You see, sales calls, talking to people in the right order, the right way, it isn't rocket science. We aren't all born with the skill to sell. But it is a strategy and a framework that you can learn to be able to sell. So, who's ready to dig in a little deeper? Yes? All right, excellent, love it. Yes, bring all those chat messages in. It keeps me pumped. Okay, so let's dig into the actual script and talk about each of these things, which is number 1, the thank you. So when you start the call, first, thank them for turning up. Okay, also, this allows you to start on a nice soft note. Hey, thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad that you made it for our chat today. All right, so a thank you. I always like to then build rapport. So when you build connection, ask some very simple questions like, where are you joining me today? What time is it in your world? How has your day been so far? I'll kind of sometimes, mention the weather. Or, hey, I'm in the future. If I'm speaking to somebody in America and they're in the past, and I can tell them, hey, their future looks bright. So this is how we just start softly to really make sure that they're feeling comfortable. We've got to know them a little bit. And then we move into step number 3, set the call intention. Now, this is so important because what you're now doing is taking control of the call. You're the one who will be asking all the questions. But as we move into a lot of these different areas, all of these steps, I want you to pay attention to the asking permission as you move through. So each stage will be you asking permission to move to the next stage. So I will ask them after we've got to know each other, is it okay if I go with you today? What's going to happen on this call? So now I've set the intention and I can explain to them what's happening in the call. First, I'll tell them how long I like to run the call for. Also, I'll let them know that the call is about me finding out about them just as much as it is them finding out about me, because it's going to be a two-way decision whether or not we work with each other. For myself, we don't say yes to everybody. We actually say no to more people than we say yes to, because people need to be at a certain level before they join our program. They need to be action takers. They need to be ready to spend money on marketing, and they are really ready to set up their systems and not use cheap software. I mean, what our recommendation is a day is $10 a day for software, right? So if you aren't willing to spend $10 a day on software, well, then I know that you're not a good fit for us. Or if you're never, ever considering ever paying for paid marketing, then again, that's going to be a decision that they're not going to be a good fit for us. So what I want you to do here is I want you to start to think about a list of things as well that is going to disqualify people. as you're working through the call. We've got 6 major pillars that we ensure that at least 3 or 4 of them they meet before we even consider offering them a place inside the program. Also, what I then do is I will thank them for completing the questionnaire and quickly say something back to them from what was in the questionnaire, because that's going to save a lot of time of all that backstory stuff. Okay. Now, once I've done that, I've told them I'm going to make a decision and also they're going to make a decision. And at the end of the call, well, actually fairly early on in the call, we'll both have a fairly decent idea if we want to work together. And I will ask them, is that a plan? Are they happy with the plan to move forward with the call? Again, have you noticed there? We've asked permission. This is how we don't feel salesy, sleazy, or gross, because we're not throwing and forcing things at people. What we're doing is we're asking permission to keep moving forward. So then we move into the why section. So there's a few why areas to get to know them. So before we move into that, I will ask them if they've got any questions before moving forward, and then we'll move into the why now. So this is where you put your listening ears on, okay? You are looking to hear what their pain points are. This why now section is your opportunity to listen more than you speak. There's a reason why we got 2 of these and 1 of these, because we want to listen more than we speak. So I will say, hey, thanks for filling out the questionnaire, but can you tell me a little bit more about why now? What made you click that button and book a call? Now, after they go through all of that, thank them for sharing, right? That's a really important thing. Once they've shared all of their struggles, thank them for sharing, and we move from thank and then show them you understand. So this is where we will reply back to them with words that they used, okay? So that we show that we do understand them. So why now? Then we thank them for sharing and we reply back to them with some words. And then we ask them, why me? Or why us? Or why the Sparkle Class Academy, right? Whatever your thing is, ask them why. Why me? Because what this is doing is it's allowing them to say out loud some of the reasons why they're attracted to you and your business over the other competitors out there. Again, listening is always be listening, because the things that they like about you is showing you a lot of the time what they don't like about others and why they were most attracted to you. Again, this is where we want to do thank you, right? And if they've given you any pain points, again, show that you understand how they feel. And it's a great way to kind of boost your ego a little bit when everyone tells you you're amazing, right? All right, now moving on to the next one, which is step 6, your authority question. Now, this authority question aligns with your business. It can use a little bit of industry jargon. Okay, don't go too crazy on the industry jargon. And it's okay if they don't 100% understand what it is you've asked. Okay, so something that I would ask is, how are you tracking your KPIs? Because you know I love me some sexy numbers, right? Now, sometimes people will come straight back at us and tell us, oh, we've got a marketing funnel with this many numbers. We've got ads running with a cost per click at this. And then we've got a conversion to appointment value at this. And then our opt-in landing page is converting at XYZ. Some people, most people will go, what's a KPI? Because they're being ostriches with their head in the sand, not tracking those sexy numbers. So think about your business. What is an expertise question that you can throw in there that shows that you know your shit? Okay, shows them you know what it is you're talking about. Right, now, Once we've done that, it allows us to get a bit of an understanding about, have they done a bit of research? How serious are they about what it is you help them with? Then we move into a really important component, the biggest struggles. Now, this I always, because when you ask people what they're struggling with, the list here can be so long, you could literally talk for hours sometimes. And then they go off into all sorts of tangents and all over the place. So make sure you frame this question really well. And the way I like to do this is say, look, I know you've probably got 10 million problems in your head right now, but we don't have time to chat about all of them. So what would be your biggest struggle? What's the first thing that comes to mind with where you're stuck? Okay. And then you can reference, the thing you help people with. Again, this one is really important for active listening. What we're again doing is looking for the pain points. And what you're going to be doing throughout this conversation is you're going to be taking lots of notes, using active listening and using the words, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more, to dig into where they're really stuck. Because when we move to the next section, which we'll get to shortly, you're going to need at least 3 pain points that we can reference as we lead into the offer. So then I always like to follow that with what actions do you think you should take before moving on. Now, the reason for this is I want to know how far along they are. How much have they tried in the past? Maybe they've got absolutely no idea. Some people might say to me, I just need to post more on social media. And I'm like, that is not a marketing strategy. That is just throwing spaghetti at the wall in my brain. And I'm like, okay, so this person just thinks they just post and they will come. If people tell me they need to build a funnel, a landing page, I know they've done a little bit more research, so they're further along. So ask yourself, have they tried anything already? So it's good to know what they've already tried or what they think they should do but haven't yet started. All right, next we move to the area where we decide if we're going to help them. So there's 2 ways in which you will move at this point. Have you noticed we've not spoken about money yet? We've not spoken about our offer. We haven't gotten into anything that we've sold or we're selling. About this point, you'll be about 15 minutes or more into the conversation. It could be 20, 25 minutes in, just depends on so this script that I'm going through with you today is to sell high ticket. Okay. So you're looking at around 45 to 60 minutes for the call. But this is so important. I want you to be honest. In the early days, I used to say yes to everybody, and there's no problem with that because when you say yes to everybody, you do get to learn who you love working with and also who you don't like working with. But the more and more you do this business, the more you'll realize who you want to say no to as well. So this is just as important. So if yes, you'll move to the next section. But if no, tell them your opinion on what you believe they need to do next. And then usually I will refer them off to further training so that I can get them up to speed with where I need them to be ready for our service. Or I refer them to somebody else, especially if I get somebody in who's just selling physical products in a bricks and mortar store. I used to help people with that. It's not the area I want to stay in. So I have people I refer them to. So this is where I'll say, based on what I've heard you share with me today, and I want to be respectful of our time, I hear that you're wanting a solution for, and I'll insert the solution. And that is something that I'm not able to help you with right now with, say, the Freedom Funnel Academy. Until, however, you are able to work with me and you're at that stage, I would love to give you a referral. So out of integrity, I'm not here to try and sell you anything. I just want to make sure that you align to our values and are a good fit for what you need. You're not just there to take their money, right? At the end of the day, aren't you trying to help people solve a problem that they want to solve, not just get their money? Because the longer you're in this, if you're just after the money, you are seriously going to end up really hating the business if you're only chasing the dollar. Because sometimes the dollar doesn't always come, but you do it because there's a bigger purpose, right? You want to help people so bad. So that's where you decide. Again, we haven't moved into the selling. Now we're all the way up to number 9 and we still haven't moved into the selling. So once you decide if they are a good fit for you, this is where we go into the I'm hearing you phase. So we start with the why now. So that whole first section was the why now. And now we move into the I understand you phase. So this is where you will pull out 3 of the biggest pain points that you heard them say and repeat them back to them, followed by what they want to achieve or do when they fix that problem. And I love to start this by, again, asking permission if I can check back with them to make sure I understood them. So I'll say, is it all right with you if I just go through my notes and make sure we're on the right page? See, asking permission. And they're going, yes. Little mini closes as well along the way, right? So then I'll use words like, I heard you say that you're struggling with, and then state something that they're struggling with. And that when you fix that problem, you want to be able to, and then I'll ask them, does that sound right? So we end with a yes at the end of these 3 repeating statements. So I hear you're struggling with attracting leads to you and you want to get off that merry-go-round of feast and famine of running your coaching business where 1 month's good and 1 month's bad. Does that sound right? And I also heard you say that you have been growing your email list, but I noticed that you're not actually consistently nurturing that list and you only seem to send emails to them whenever you've got an offer. And if you nurture them better, you are going to have a better open rate, click-through rate, and eventually the sales. Did I hear that correctly? So see, we're repeating back words, and you can role play this with people as well to get used to it. It's a muscle, guys. It's a muscle that you will grow to make your sales calls effective. And eventually, like I've literally just got the dot points of the things, the stages that I showed you at the beginning, or actually these ones, with a couple of notes that I literally just write around on the paper, taking notes and highlighting things. All right. Now, once we've repeated back everything, those 3 major pain points to them in their words, we then again, did I hear that correctly? Get a mini yes, and then we move to the plan. Now, again, we're at step 10, still no offer. Okay, great. If it's okay with you, could I walk you through the plan that I have to help you improve those things that we discussed? Sound good? See, I've asked them permission to move to the next stage, the plan. Now, when you move to the plan, you know your program. You know what steps you go through in your signature method. If you've worked with me, you understand the big A to Z and the major steps you go through for your signature method, right? Ours is like plan it, design it, fill it, convert it, something like that. I can't remember them off the top of my head right now because I'm focused on the sales call script. But anyway, you know the methodology inside your signature method. So I want you to pick 3 things from that signature method that they said they were struggling with that you can help them with. Now, the important part about this phase when you're explaining the plan is not to say if you think that you might like to, or maybe you could, or what if you sort of feel like doing this. I want you to use positive words for them to feel that they're going to take action. So use the words you will. And then you will. And finally, you will. So you fill it with 3 things that they will do. So for example, for us, first, you will craft your signature offer so that it's crystal clear when you tell people about it. And so that because if you confuse, you lose. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to simply explain your signature offer? That's step 1 of what you will do. Sound good? All right. Next step, you will, and then you'll move into what they'll do next, right? Run a live event to attract people to you so you can present your offer to them, right? And then finally, you will get them to book calls and have a sales conversation. Don't worry, I'll give you the script. Right? To help you while you're still learning how to sell high-ticket items. Now, again, we're finishing with, does that sound like a good plan? Okay? So the big benefit statement. Does that sound like a great plan to get you from the pain point to the solution, right? To get you from struggling to find leads to attracting, nurturing, and closing people who are really wanting and needing your help. So that moves us into, again, does that sound like a plan? Here, little mini yes along the way. Now, once we've done the plan with them, this was one of the best sentences that I ever learned. Seriously, I've been through so many different sales trainings over the years because to me, selling is truly helping. But this one sentence was like, it shifted my conversion rates dramatically. Now that you've asked them if it sounds like a plan, do they know what to do moving forward? They'll say yes. And here is how we transition. We use these few beautiful words. We'll say, great. Can I ask, would you like me to help you further with that? What a great transition. You're not saying, hey, can I tell you about what I sell? You're asking permission to tell them about their offer. 99% of people will go, yes, please. I'd love to know more. And a few people will go, no, I'm good, thanks. Because they've made the decision that they don't want to work with you. It doesn't happen very often, but it's probably happened a couple of times because they've come into the call knowing that they're not interested. They're really just stalking. Now, finally, out of all of these steps, we get to step 13, present your offer. This is where we'll say, well, that's exactly why I created or I coach on or I have this program, and then you name it. So for us, that's why we created the Freedom Funnel Academy. And then you insert the pain points that they had so that you can then insert the benefit that you will help them with. So they're A to Z, they're pain to transformation. And then you go through what's included in your program. Now, what's included in your program is the way in which we present our signature offer. You give a feature and a benefit for each of the major steps. And we go further into that training in another section. We don't have time to go into that one in great detail today. But if you understand what it is you sell, it's not hard to share with people just the steps and how it's going to help them. The feature, the thing that it is, and the benefit, how it's going to help them. And then you will say, this is what's going to help you get from A, pain point, to Z, depends on where you are in the world, the transformation. And we end with, does that sound like a good plan? See, we've asked them, does it sound good? And then here is where we ask them if they've got any more questions. Now, this here, there's a couple of ways it can go. They go, no questions, sign me up, I'm ready to rock and roll. And we can move into the next area. But usually at this point, they are going to ask you the price. Okay, so this is where we will share with them what is the investment in the program, and that'll help them get from A all the way through to Z. from the struggle to the transformation. Then you ask them, do you have any questions once you've presented the price? And at this point, this is where the real conversation starts. At this point, the prospects are going to have objections. And I'm going to go more into objections soon. I'm creating it into this training for you today. But this is where they'll go into objections. Now, use some resources. I'm going to share with you some resources soon that will help you to overcome objections. But I want you to shift your mindset around objections. Objections are just them asking more questions to get more clarity. That's all. And if they say no, it's not no to you. It could just be no for right now. But it's definitely not no, you're not a good person. Okay? And no, your program's no good. What it is they've got more questions, and it's your job to continuously give them resources by answering those questions so that they can make an informed decision if you're a good fit for them. So we'll go into objections shortly. Then finally, we move into the last kind of logistical parts. We celebrate, right? But before we celebrate, we want to do all the logistical stuff. So this is where we will ask them for their details to process their payment. I would recommend you process the payment on the phone. Do not send them a link. Do it on the Zoom call so that you can get either the deposit or the first payment in, and you can then move into the official welcome. Now, here's a little hot tip, because I know some people struggle with using, like getting credit card details from people. I want you to kind of go into it lightly. Here's a really nice way to do it. You say, okay, so this is your full name. Is that correct? Okay, I've got this address here. Is that good? Or can you share your address? This is the phone number that you put in when you book this call. Is that correct? Excellent. Now, will you be paying with Visa or MasterCard? Okay, so that way it's a nice transition to it. Now, there's two ways. You can take their details and process the payment manually so it's done, or you can shoot them the link, right, and get them to make that first payment while on the call, which then allows you to move into this section. So while they're processing the payment, I will say, well, while you're doing that, I'm just going to open a few things to show you what to do next. You see, you don't want to take their money and say, yay, thanks, bye. After they've given you the money, you need to welcome and onboard them. And then we always book their next appointment, right? Remember the saying I always say, never finish a conversation until you book your next conversation? This works here as well. So I will usually give them a guided tour through a share screen of our program, or I'll just tell them what's coming next. We're going to send you an NDA, because everything that happens in the VOZ stays in the VOZ. Also an agreement that, anything that gets recorded, you're okay for us to either use or ask permission to, use in testimonials throughout your journey with us. Plus, as soon as that comes back, it'll unlock all the program for you. And there'll be a few things that'll be in the email for you to do. But also, let's lock in a proper orientation call where we'll give you a guided tour through the program. And I try to get that in as soon as possible with Jackie. She does the onboarding calls because she's a success coach. Doesn't matter if you don't have team members yet, you can book it in with yourself. And if Jackie's really busy and I can't get an appointment in within the first day or so, I'll just do it on the call. I'll ask, do you have time right now? And I will give you the guided tour, right? So that when they get in, they don't get buyer's remorse. They have something to move forward with, okay, to sink their teeth into between now and when they get to see you next. Then it's a simple transition to closing out the call, welcoming them to the Sparkle World or wherever, and let them know that you really enjoyed speaking with them, and let them know that they can reach out at any time, that if they've got any questions, they can reach out and ask. Let them know how. And before you finish, get them to ask you, do you have any further questions? Tell them how excited you are that they're joining your program, and then you look forward to speaking to them again. Now, this follow-up will be one of two things. If they say yes and you've gone through and you've got the deposit, awesome. You've followed up by booking in your orientation call and given them some homework. If they still need to speak to somebody or look at financing or decide if it's the right time, and there's a reason why once you've been and tried to overcome the objections, you can't get a yes on the phone, they move to what we call the negotiation stage, where they're still deciding. They're qualified, but they're still deciding if they want to work from us. Again, follow up. The fortune's in the follow-up. That's what you want to do. You want to ensure that you book your next conversation before you finish the current conversation. So, hey, how long do you need to decide? Great. Is it all right if we book a call for XYZ time? Great. All right, I'll lock that in and I'll chat with you then. If you've got any questions, feel free to reach out. Okay, so that's the strategy. That is the main steps throughout the script. Pretty cool, right? And then you end the call. Now, inside your workbook, you will also see that I've typed this script out for you as well, with some examples and options of what to say. Eventually, once you get great at sales calls, you will use this as a guide, but also you'll get so used to hearing very similar questions or similar struggles and pain points. You get better at being able to explain what people are stuck with. And the more you practice this, by the time they get on the phone with you, then they're usually 80% sold, right? If you've done your job well pre-sales call, with your live training or whatever it is that you give them before the sales call, then you're 80% sold before you get on the phone. Okay, so let's have a look here. Here we are we've done the script and we've now completed that. Let's talk about the objections. I know they can be so scary when you're not sure what to say. So before I talk about the actual 9 different options you have for overcoming objections, I want to speak to you about... Oh, we have a subscriber, Jen. Welcome, Jen. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Much love. All right, so what we do with objections is let me just actually scroll down to a blank page, and I want to talk to you about, let's add a page in here and come back to the iPad. All right, so when you're thinking about objections, I want you to consider where you feel comfortable, okay? So there's a spectrum in which we sit, okay? Now, down this end, this is passive, okay? This is passive. And then up this end is pushy. So we don't want to be too passive or too pushy. So what does that mean? Too passive means, oh, it doesn't matter if you don't want it. Or, oh, okay. And then you just stop. They go, I can't afford it. And you go, okay, have a great day. That's not helping anybody. Okay, so you don't want to be too passive and you don't want to be too pushy, where if you don't buy this thing, don't you care about the health of your children? Now, I give you this example because I worked for a company selling pots and pans, like cookware, right? And we used to show them, it was called Your House Nutrition System. I don't even know if it's still around. It was many moons ago, back in my early 20s. And they wanted me to say, because as we work through and show them the benefits of this cookware, you cook below like boiling and it keeps all the nutrients in the vegetables so that there's more goodies that goes into your body. But they literally wanted me to tell people that they didn't care about their kids if they didn't buy the cookware. And I'm like, no. That, to me, is not where I'm willing to go. They made me go to watch other people present how to use the cookware, and some people said it. And I'm like, no go for me. It gives me goosebumps thinking how salesy, sleazy, and ridiculously gross that is. But also, you don't want to be like, okay, bye, have a good day. So what we need to do is we need to find where is your happy place. Okay, where on this spectrum are you willing to go and be not too passive and not too pushy? So some of these examples that I'm going to go through with you may be too pushy for you to use those words. Okay, but I don't want you to be too passive. Sometimes you've got to learn to question people, and you'll see what I mean as I work through this. So let's have a look at let's head to the objection section. So the objection framework itself is 3 major stages. So they'll throw you an objection, and then you need to show them empathy. Okay, so empathy is thanking them for sharing how they feel. Okay, thank you so much for sharing that with me. Then the next stage is understanding them. So you tell them you understand what it's like to, and insert an example of what it's like to go without the thing, or how scary it can be, or imposter syndrome, or all the things. You understand what it's like. For example, I understand what it's like to see that you feel that you really want to help your business grow and scale, but at the moment you believe you can't afford it. I've been there, and it's not a nice place to be. Now, when people tell you they can't afford it, don't just say, okay. We need to understand where they are on the I can't afford it spectrum. Is it, I can't afford it because it means I won't be able to go out for dinner on a Saturday night with my friends, and it means I will have to miss out on a few, the wine that I like to have during the weekend. Or, maybe I need to just, move a couple of dollars around. That I can't afford it is different to I can't afford it because I'm, raising 6 kids. I'm struggling to even put food on the table at night. I've got sick adult parents, and, we've got to take out a second mortgage. There's a big difference. And the only way that you're going to uncover it is with these 3 magical words. Tell me more. So whatever objection they throw at you, 1, start with empathy. 2, follow through with understanding. And then 3, tell me more, and then choose how you want to respond to the objection. So there are different ways in which you can respond to the objection. First one is just call it out. The big elephant in the room. Okay, don't be afraid to address the big elephant, the big objection head on by acknowledging the objection, addressing it, and then showing them that you understand. So inside the workbook, I've given you some examples. For example, I completely understand you're concerned about the cost. Let's talk about how the coaching program can provide you with significant ROI so that you can achieve your goals, right? So you just say it blatantly. I know it can cost you money, but hey, do you believe it's going to get you an ROI? And if so, would you like to run the math with me? Right? That's not a hard thing. Some people, it might be a bit pushy, right? I don't think it is. I want to run the math. I want to understand more. Now, I'm not going to get in and move their bank accounts around and make them get a loan and all the things, but I want to find out, is it real or is it just an excuse? I mean, I had one lady tell me once that she couldn't afford it. Come hell or high water, there was no money anywhere. for a $2,000 program. Next thing, she went and bought a $30,000 tens machine for her business. Okay? All right. So, one, just approach it head on. Okay? If you're confident enough to do that. Second option is story time. So everyone loves a good story as long as it's relevant to, that situation at hand. But share case studies and stories of how you've helped people overcome similar problems so that, the thing that they're struggling with now doesn't need to dictate their future. And by sharing a story of the help that you've done and case studies you've had with other people can show them that it is possible. So again, there's more examples in the workbook, but one of them would be, you could say, I had a client with similar doubts about this, insert the name of your program, but after working with me, they were able to achieve their goals and even their expectations were exceeded. Let me share a story with you. Is that okay? And then again, did you hear that? Asking permission to share a story of a client. All right. The next way is benefit by bright, beautiful benefits. I love me some benefits. So sometimes the objection may arise and the potential customer doesn't fully understand what the product benefits are, how it will fully help them. So this is where you'll take the time to really emphasize the feelings that they'll have when they achieve the goal. But make it fun and engaging, use analogies and metaphors. This can really help people relate to you when you're sharing the benefits. For example, if you're selling a productivity tool, you could say it's like having a personal assistant who never takes a break or gets sick, right? So share the bright, beautiful benefits. For us, it's like having a team in a box. That's what we are. We are your team in a box. If you can't hire a massive team, hire us. You get everyone for a fraction of the price, right? So again, there's more examples inside the workbook for you as well. Next one, social proof, baby. So people are more likely to trust you when they know others have had success with the program. So use social proof like client testimonials, reviews, show ROIs, demonstrations, and successes that your clients have had. Make it fun. Even if you've got graphics, you can share it with them. Make it a really positive way to show your expertise. Another way I use this as well is if they're still unsure, I say, hey, here's a whole group of clients. Go reach out to some of them. Right? And then follow up. So you can share, again, more examples, but an example from the workbook is our coaching program has been highly successful for top industry experts and thought leaders. Let me share with some endorsements with you of who we've worked with in the past. Is that okay with you? See what I just did there? Ask permission. Are you getting the gist of like the flow and how you make this work by using the framework? All right, number 5, questions. Be Sherlock Holmes. Tell me more. Be inquisitive, right? Sometimes objections are just the tip of the iceberg, but you really need to dive into your inner Sherlock Holmes and ask probing questions. If you're a life coach, chunk it down. You know what I'm saying, right? Chunk it down, get to the heart of their concerns. This not only helps you understand their objection better, but it also shows that you're interested in their success and also you're willing to listen. They feel so seen, heard, loved, and appreciated. Plus, it's going to help you with messaging and lots of other amazing things moving forward outside of this actual conversation. So again, in the book, there's some examples, but you could use the words, like I've said, tell me more. Can you tell me more about what you're looking for when it comes to help with this thing? What are the key features or benefits, the key things that you're actually searching for with help to solve this solution? Okay, so tell me more. All right, number 6, try it out. Sometimes the best way to overcome an objection is to let your potential customers come try it out. Offer a free trial, a demo, maybe see some value firsthand. Make it fun. You can even gamify the experience. I do a lot of sneak peeks where very occasionally we open up, because we have at least half a dozen or more different expert sessions that people can choose to attend throughout the week, depending on where they're stuck and what help they need. And sometimes we open the doors for people to be butterflies on the wall and experience what it's like to work with our experts firsthand. Our mindset, our LinkedIn paid, our Meta paid ads, our messaging, copywriting, graphic design, Canva, offer creation, live challenge event, sexy numbers and strategy. Like, these are all the expert sessions we have, and it allows you to try it out. See if our experts actually really know their stuff. So is there a way for you to give them a free trial? Maybe give them a coaching session. Why don't you try out our coaching program for a week and, allow you to see if you believe this program's going to get you to your goals, and also you can make an informed decision if it's a good fit for you. Right? All right, next one, satisfaction guaranteed. If they hesitate and they really are not sure if you are going to solve their problem, then alleviate their concerns by showing them that you have a satisfaction guarantee. We actually have 2 guarantees. We have a 30-day money-back guarantee. Come in, test drive the team. See if you gel with us. Do you truly believe if you work with us for 12 months, you will get an ROI implementing the strategies? It's not going to happen overnight. But hey, come in for 30 days, because I know in 30 days we're only scraping the surface, but we can showcase how good we are. So that's satisfaction guarantee number 1. The second guarantee we have is you will scale your business within 12 months. And we've given options on what we consider to be scaling. So previously I used to do an ROI, and an ROI on your investment is sweet FA. Okay, honestly, if that's all they're worried about, just getting their investment back, that's not going to take much at all. So we shifted from an ROI, because that one, if you wanted to do an ROI, for example, if you're in a B2B business, an ROI guarantee is you will get a return on your investment, or I will work with you for free until you do. Right? Providing they do all the steps, I'm happy to do that. But the guarantee we have now is the scalability guarantee, and which means within the time of working with us, you'll be able to do one, if not all of the 3 things. 1, hire. If you haven't already hired, you will be able to hire. Number 2, you increase and scale your paid ads money. And 3, you go evergreen. Right? Sure, we teach live events, and we don't want you to live from launch to launch or live event to live event. We also eventually want to dial it in and go evergreen, so you're still making sales in between live events. So one of those 3 things is a satisfaction guarantee. So I want you to think about, what would your satisfaction guarantee be? All right, number 8, negotiation station. I really like this one. Oh, hang on, did I miss one? I did. Negotiation station. Let me see. Hang on. Did I put them around the wrong way? I did. There we go. Negotiation station. So this is objections related to pricing or terms. And sometimes you may need to be willing to negotiate. This shows that you really aren't just in it for the money, but you want to help them find a solution. Now, I do not say discount everybody. Okay, don't do that. Honestly, you are degrading your service and the transformation by discounting everybody. But you could say, hey, what if I offered you a payment plan? Right? So instead of having to think about the large price, do you think you could cover the price for the first 2 to 3 months while we get up and running? And then after that, you'll be making money. right? So this was something that I got from a coaching session with Pat Flynn when I wanted to hire somebody who was in six figures. And I kept thinking, oh, how am I going to come up with this six-figure payment? And he said, you don't have to come up with six figures. And I'm like, oh, you've only got to come up with the first 2 or 3 months. Do you believe this person's going to help you make money? I'm like, of course, that's why I want them. So do you believe you can cover the expense for the first 1 to 2 months and then they're going to make you the money and then some because of what they do for your business? And I'm like, oh. It was like this huge light bulb moment for me, even though I already knew this, and because I hire coaches all the time, knowing that I'm going to get an ROI. But when it come to hiring a staff member, I was like, oh, duh, right? I don't have to come up with their annual salary at one thing. I'm just going to pay them every fortnight. What am I so worried about? So payment plans are really great at the negotiation station, okay, where you can put them on a payment plan. Oh, if you can't afford the full payment, would a payment plan work better for you? So you've got more time. So that is the negotiation station. And finally, this is the most important. I'm going to take you back to do not finish your call without booking your next call. So if you are unable to close on call, and I don't want you to give up, okay? Follow up like a professional. It is not the job of your prospect, of that lead, to follow up with you. You see, they are busy running their own lives and families and activities and all the things and going to work and whatever it is they're doing. It is your job as the business owner to follow up with them. So book your next appointment, okay? So I've got some examples in there for you, but really what you want to do is, I understand that you're going to need some time to think about it, and then ask them, like, send them more resources, of course. Always send them more resources. How long will you need? And then what you'll ask them is, great, can I follow up with you at XYZ time? Okay? Got it? All right, so that is our follow up. So they are our 9 objection tools, and you will here find your happy place. Okay? Learning how to effectively overcome objections is crucial to being able to sell your coaching programs. Objections are just a natural part of the sales process. They provide opportunity for you to address your clients' concerns, but in return, it allows you to build trust and create better relationships. A no now doesn't mean no forever. So by choosing one of these 9 strategies that we've discussed, so let's have a look here. We've got these, actually, they're here. If we come back here. So choosing one of these 9 options, right, you can start practicing overcoming those objections. But remember, listen more than you speak. Okay, provide examples, social proof, highlight the benefits of your program, offer flexibility, payment plans, money back guarantees, whatever's necessary. You see, overcoming objections requires persistence and follow up. I'm going to say that again. Overcoming objections requires persistence and follow up. So by staying in touch with your clients, not letting people fall through the cracks, don't let your marketing funnels have holes, okay? This is a huge thing I see with people. They get a lead and then they don't email them, or there's all these holes in their funnels. You see, you only need to tweak tiny little bits of your funnels to increase your ROI, right? So in summary, overcoming objections are essential to your coaching business. It's going to allow you to be a better coach. You are going to be listening and helping. So please, I want you to make a mindset shift around objections. Objections are good. Okay, objections allow you to learn what your people need, and they allow you to help more people and get clearer on your message. Now, I've also supplied here a script. Hang on, let me just come up. Sorry, a checklist for you to really bring this on home. I have this checklist I want you to go through from the workbook. One, I don't want you to just read the script. I want you to rewrite the script in your own words. I want you to get out a pen and paper. Okay, get out a pen and paper and do it. Then I want you to, come back here. I want you to type up the script so that you can print out multiple copies. And when you do that, you write on them while doing the sales calls. Or if you want to have them on a computer and type, whatever works for you. I find I'm practicing typing at the moment, but I've always been a writer. Rewrite the objections in your own words. So use the ones we've given you and model them so you've got things to pull from. Okay, then type. Now there's a reason why I get you to write and then, that's meant to be a highlighter. Why is that not a highlighter? Opacity is supposed to be down here. Back. Okay, rewrite and then type. There's stuff that happens in your brain. Jackie can explain it more, but when you write, bigger things happen, okay? You remember things better. And again, rewrite and then type. I want you to then set up your qualifying questionnaire for your booking system, okay? Find a sparkler in the community to practice with and start booking those live consult calls, okay? Record your consults and then watch them back. See where you could have done better and note down 3 things you do well, okay? And then 3 things you can improve on. And if you're part of our Diamond program, one of our VIPs, we will actually sit with you and go through and watch your sales calls to help point out areas you may have missed or maybe said the wrong words that shifted them from wanting your help to fear, okay? There's like one question I want you to remove from your vocabulary. Here's a very important one. What did you think? It's one of the worst things you can say, okay? When you say, what did you think, what you're saying to them is, what's going to happen is their amygdala is going to kick in. I don't want to be sold to, and they're going to say, I like something, but, and they'll throw a yeah, but at you because fear will kick in. So use the words, what did you like best? Okay, so there's just a little extra hot tip for you. Okay, then of course you've got to measure those sexy numbers. So after 10 consults, so once you've done 10, these are the industry standards and where the sparkle standards, where we want to get you to, because where we want to get you here, this is much different to the industry. But if your industry standards are at 20%, I'm good for now if there are other holes in your funnel to plug, okay? So if you're under the standards, right, if you're under industry standards, then I want you, if you're one of our clients, please record one of your sales calls and bring them to us, and we will help you unpack them to see maybe where potentially you're going wrong. Remember, it is not rocket science, okay? It is not rocket science. It is a skill that everybody can learn. We have not all been born with the skill to sell, but I promise you, hand on heart, everybody can learn this skill. So what's next? Well, next what I want you to do is I want you to make the most out of this resource. And I have the opportunity for those people who maybe haven't worked with me yet, or maybe you're running a funnel and you're just not getting enough bookings on the calendar for high ticket clients. I want you to book a free funnel audit. Now on this page here, you'll see a little button. It's actually interactive. You can click on it and it will load for you into it won't in this program because this is my writing program, but just in a normal PDF document, it'll click and open where you can book yourself a funnel audit. So in this, it's a 15-minute funnel audit where I'm going to walk with you through your funnel to see if we can increase your sales calls. Okay, so what we're going to look at is areas where you can tweak the funnel. There are many different steps like cost per click or views to opt in and getting to the calendar page and booking and then follow-up systems and so many things, little areas in your funnel that we just need to tweak a little bit and we can improve that process for you. So inside of the funnel audit, what we're going to do is we're going to analyze those sexy numbers. Yes, baby, all the stuff that I love. I'm going to look through what you're potentially spending on ads and look for areas of improvement. And I'm going to provide you with specific advice on how you can reduce your ad cost, improve conversions, increase your follow-up, because we've heard the fortune's in the follow-up, right? So that's what you can expect inside the funnel audit. So if you're interested, okay, then all you need to do is click one of these buttons inside of the downloadable, or there's probably a link under this video for you to book yourself a 15-minute funnel audit. You see, this is what I do all day, every day. I look through specifically since 2017, coaches' marketing funnels. I geek out on the sexy numbers, the automation. I literally dream about it, like numbers, tags, automation. I don't know. I'm a bit crazy like that. But that's what I do all day, every day. So if you'd like me to help you plug holes, I promise, if you're not one of our clients and you would like one of these calls, you will need to be somebody who's willing to have or want to run paid marketing into the funnel, because the numbers will be too low for me to make an informed decision if you haven't had at least 100 odd people going into the funnel, or if you have not yet done so and you want to run paid ads, but you're scared that the landing page won't convert or the thank you page won't convert, then book an audit and I can help you with messaging and copywriting to look that when you do decide to turn on for paid marketing, that you're going to have the best possible chance for a positive outcome to book appointments. No matter what funnel you have, as long as you're a coach and you're either paying for ads or wanting to pay for ads but have been a bit scared, then book a funnel audit, because I love me sexy numbers. Bring them to me, baby. All right, guys, have a great day. As always, guys, never let anyone dull your sparkle. And don't forget, if you're not working with us yet and you would like me to audit your funnel, then find the little button below or around this video, click it and book your free funnel audit. You're probably wondering, why do I give this funnel audit away for free? Well, there is one little thing. You see, the funnel audit itself, we only open up a very few selected appointments each and every month for a free funnel audit. Because if you're watching this, you are probably pretty new to our community, or you're not sure if what we do can help you. And I really want to kick off our relationship on a good note. It's not a sales thing, I promise you. I'm not going to try and sell you anything in the audit. I just want to gift you with a skill set that I do all day, every day, and I love. Sexy numbers. Have a fabulous week. I hope you've enjoyed this workshop on how to use a sales script when you're booking appointments through paid traffic so that you can close more high ticket clients, and also objections, how to overcome objections. But next step is yours. Go book yourself one of those free funnel audits. Find the link around the video.